boys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another music interlude. I thought today we'd have a look at a couple of classic bands from the 1960s, 70s and have a look at a couple of box sets that were released by these bands. First of all, we're going to be looking at the 60s to 70s, even to the 80s, and they're both British rock bands. We're going to look at the Kinks and their Pie Year albums. And then after that, we're going to have a look at T-Rex, the album collections. So we've got two little box sets to have a little look at. So let's go and have a quick deep dive at these two box sets. Right, so why I thought we'd look at two box sets in one go, because they're not the biggest of box sets. And I've started to do a few of these music sort of videos, and I said to my friend, you know, is it good doing these sort of music box sets? He says it's a great idea because it gets people to have a little look at them to see if they want to pick them up. I mean, even if these box sets are out of print, which I think both of these may well be now, but it's still worth having a look just in case you want to pick them up second hand. So the first one we're going to look at is the Kinks, the Pie collection. I've had this for many years, hence why it might look just a little bit on the old sort of tatty side, because it's had sort of like I've been enjoying the box set, and it's a fantastic set of albums. It's the albums that they recorded once when they were on the Pie label, and they're all included in this set. Now, it's not the most attractive of sets. Now, the actual case opens up like that. Almost like a 1960s cigarette packet, isn't it, really? And these are the albums that are in the set. So if we pop that there, we close that, then they won't fall over. Yeah, they're not the most attractive of releases as such, but to be honest, it's got 10 CDs, there's 10 albums in this set. And it starts off with all their albums that they released on the Pie label. The first one being Kinks Size, which is a Japanese writing on the actual album, which is rather strange. So it's obviously the Japanese version of the film, of the album, I'm afraid. And they all come in with like a little, like a replica sort of record, which is a nice touch. It's quite a nice touch on that with the K on there. It looks like K-Tel, doesn't it? If you remember them. If you're my age, you probably will remember K-Tel. So it comes into that sort of package. It's a bit strange, but there again, it's nice that it's got like a different version of how it would look. Next up is the Kinks, and it's called, I think it's just called Kinks, to be honest. And this one is in English, this one there. And again, it's an original sort of setup like the album would have looked, with even some sort of adverts, I believe, at the bottom of the cover here for different artists. So when you would have bought this album, that they would have had those adverts on it. So once again, it comes in with like one of those replica kind of CDs, and it's called Kinda Kinks, which is bizarre because it just says the Kinks on the front. So it's called Kinda Kinks. I'm not sure if we can read the track listings. It's Look For Me Baby, Got My Feet on the Ground, Nothing in the Woods Can Stop Me from Worrying Soul That Girl, worrying about that girl. Sorry, my eyesight's getting not as good as it was. Nagging Woman, Wonder Where the Baby Is Tonight, Tired and Waiting for You, Dancing in the Street, Don't Ever Change, Come On Now, So Long, They Shouldn't Be Sad, and Something Better Beginning. So that's the songs on that album. If I put them in upside down, they'll go back in the box the right way. Then we have United Kingsdom album. Again, this one is in English with the tracks Mad Milk Cow Blues. I remember that one. Ring the Bells, Gotta Get First Flame Home, Plane even. Oh, my eyesight. When I see that girl of mine, I am free, still till the end of the day. The world keeps going around. I'm on an island. Where have all the good times gone? It's too late. What's in store for me? And You Can't Win are the tracks on this album. So once again, in the classic. I think this was released by Sanctuary Records. And the cardboard's not the best quality. As you can see, it's quite a thick opening. So it's not very tight. So the discs can fall out like that. So be wary of that if you do buy it. But it is definitely worth getting because it's got some classic sort of Kinks albums in here. Next up is Face to Face, the Kinks. I love that picture there. They're obviously at the Tower of London there with the cannon. As you can see, Tower Bridge behind us there. Really cool. The tracks on this one are Party Line, Rosie Won't You Please Come Home, Dandy, Too Much on My Mind, Session Man, A Rainy Day in June, House in the Country, Holiday in Waikiki, Most Exclusive Residency, For Sale, Fancy, Little Miss Queen of Darkness, You're Looking Fine, Sunny Afternoon, and I'll Remember. So I remember Sunny Afternoon, probably one of their most famous tracks. Once again, in a really nice sort of retro style. Something Else by the Kinks. That's a great cover. Really, really cool. I do like that cover. And again, it's got Japanese text. The songs on here are David Watts, Death of a Clown, Two Sisters, No Return, Harry Range, Tin Soldier Man, Situation Vacant, Love Me Till the Sun Goes Down, Lazy Old Sun, Afternoon Tea, Funny Face, End of the Season, and Waterloo Sunset. So they're the songs that are on there. That one there. I've got a couple more of their sort of hits on this one. This is when they obviously started to get a bit more popular. Really cool. Next up is one of their classic and one of their probably most liked albums, the Village Green Preservation Society. It's a different cover to this one. I don't know if this is an original cover, but it's different to the one I've seen before, and it's got the tracks The Village Green Preservation Society, Do You Remember Walter, Picture Book, Johnny Thunder, Monica, People That Take Pictures of Each Other, Village Green, M. Songrio, Wonka Annabella, Star Sign, Phenomenal Cat, and Days. That's the songs on there. I do have another version of this, a double CD, like a deluxe version. It's in like a green cover. So, but that's quite cool if this is the original cover. I really like that. I like the setup. It's very retro, and I like it's got things like stereo and things like that, like it would have been back in the day. And this, oh, it does tell you on the bottom, this was an Italian release. So before we go any further, let's have a quick back. This one is a Japanese release, so they do have different covers. This was the German release of the album. United Kingdom one is an Italian version of the album. Oh, it's good that they put that on there. This was a Greek issue of the album, and this one was also a Japanese, and this one is Italian. So that's really cool. That's the first thing I've noticed, that, guys. That's weird. This is called Part 1 by the Kinks, and this one is the UK version. Let's see if we can get the tracks. Are in a very weird place. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to read those because they're so small written in there. But I think this contains the track Lola. I think another one of their famous sort of songs. So yeah, the writing is so small on that it's going to be quite difficult for me to read. Yeah, but so that is part 1. Next up is Percy the Kinks. Now I don't know if this is a soundtrack to probably a 1960s kind of film called Percy, which is probably like a sort of sex comedy kind of film, I would have guessed. It's got God's Children, Lola Instrumental, The Way Love Used to Be, Completely, Running Round Town, Moments, Animals in the Zoo, Just Friends, Whip Lady, Dreams, Helga, Willesden Green, and God's Children End. So that is the tracks that are on the soundtrack to Percy. Very cool. Did tell you it's a good set. Next one is, this is the one with a long title, isn't it? So this is called Arthur, or the Decline and Fall of the British Empire. So that's a very unique cover. This is a Dutch release, so it's the Dutch release from Holland. Contains the tracks Victoria, Yes Sir, No Sir, Some Mother's Son, Driving, Brainwashed, Australia, Shangri-La, Mr. Churchill Says, She Bought a Hat Like Princess, Marina, Young and Innocent Days, Nothing to Say, Arthur, and they're the tracks that are on that album there. So we're getting near the end of the stuff in this set. No booklet in this set. But last but not least is Live at Kelvin Hall. So this is a live album in mono and stereo, it says. Okay, and this is a French release version of this cover, and it contains the live versions of Till the End of the Day, A Well-Respected Man, You Looking Fine, Sunny Afternoon, Dandy, I'm on an Island, Come On Now, You Really Got Me, and a melody of some of their tracks there together at the end. So that's also that. So that is cool. So that is all the albums that is in the Pi Years set, which is this set here. I believe it is out of print. Not seen this around anywhere, but yeah, really cool little CDs. The box set is a bit strange. Like I said, it's like almost like a cigarette box, isn't it? I mean, I don't smoke, but I believe, if I remember right, that's what they used to look like. Maybe that was to give it that sort of retro feel to it. But yeah, that is the whole set there. And on the back here, it tells you like the sort of the hits that were on each sort of album, which is really, really cool. Yeah, and that is the release of the Kinks Pi album collection. So we'll move that aside and we'll have a look at T-Rex, the albums. Okay, it includes all 8 studio albums plus 2 bonus discs. So this has got all their studio albums released on Encell Records. So it's got all the T-Rex albums. I don't know if it's got any of the Bolan solo albums, or the Tyrannosaurus. I don't think it's got the Tyrannosaurus Rex albums. It's just the T-Rex one. It starts off with a little booklet, which goes through, like, there's not much in it. It's just more like a track listing and a little bit of the information about Tony Visconti's sort of like production of the albums, because he produced some of the early of the T-Rex. In fact, he probably did most of them, to be honest, of their albums. So it just goes through their albums there and the bonus discs. So we'll have a look at those when we get to them. So let's take the albums out. This is more like a clamshell. We'll pop that out of the way. And it starts with T-Rex. This isn't the first album, but it's the first album under the name of T-Rex. They did do other albums under the name of Tyrannosaurus Rex, but eventually they changed their name. It's a great picture there of Mark Bolan on the front. This is quite an acoustic-y, sort of folky album for them, and it contains the tracks The Children of Ram, Jewel, The Visit, Child, The Times of Love Is Now, Diamond Meadows, Root of Star, Balento Walk, Is This Love, 1 Inch Rock, Summer Deep, Seagull Woman, Sunnies, The Wizard, and Children of the Run once again. So that's the tracks on that one. This is one of their sort of like really sort of famous albums that they did, called Electric Warrior. Includes the tracks Mambo's Son, Cosmic Dancer, which is a great track, Jeepster, Moneth, Lean Woman Blues, Get It On, Planet Queen, Girl, the Motivator, Life is a Gas, and Rip Off. Some of the writing, as you can see, guys, is so tiny. To try and work out what it is that's in there is quite hard. We didn't look at the actual disc. The discs are quite generic-y, and it does not have any inner sleeve. They just go straight in like that. As you see, they all got the same kind of label, just to uniform them to this box set, which has been released by Universal. Next up we have Slider. Again, one of their sort of famous albums. Let me turn the disc around. So there's no track listing on the cover, so we will refer to the booklet and I will go through the track listing for you. We have Metal Guru, Mystic Lady, Rock On, The Slider, Baby Boomerang, Spaceball Ricochet, Buick McCain, Telegram Sam, Rabbit Fighter, Baby Strange, Ballrooms on Mars, Chariot Chuggy, and Main Man. That's the tracks from that album. Next up is T-Rex album Tanks, which I actually really quite like. Mark started to go from his very glam years, from the glam years to the very glam years on this one. Again, great little that is sort of uniformed. Original back, original cover. So these are the original covers. So the track listing on this album is Tenement Lady, Rapids, Master, Broken Hearted Blues, Shock Rock, Country Honey, Electric Slim and the Factory Hen, Mad Donna, Born to Boogie, Life is Strange, The Streets and Babe Shadow, Highway Knees, Left Hand Like and The Beggar's Boys. Left Hand Luke and The Beggar Boys. Sorry guys, I must apologise. My eyesight is starting to go as I get older, but there we are. Anyway, so then it changed his name to Mark Boland and T-Rex for the next album called Zinc Alloys, which is this one here. Great cover. I'm just trying to read a bit about it. This is the 2014 remaster. I'm not sure if this is a live album. I'm not sure. Maybe it could possibly be, but I don't think it is. But anyway. Anyway, to go through the track listing, we've got Venus Loon, Sound Pit, Explosive Mouth, Galaxy, Change, Nameless Wilderness, Teenage Dream, Liquid Gang, Car Smile Smith and the old one, You've Got to Jive to Stay Alive, Spanish Midnight, Interstellar Soul, Painless Persuasion, The Avenger, and Leopard featuring Guardia and the Mighty Slug. Okay, next up is Mark Bolan's Zip Gun, again in the original sleeve. Really cool. I do like that. I like the gangster look on the back there, where it looks like Humphrey Bogart and James Cagney there on the back there. This came out in 1974. Contains the tracks Light of Love, Solid Baby, Precious Star, Token of My Love, Space Boss, Think Zinc, Till Dawn, Girl with a Thunderbolt Suit, I Really Love You Babe, okay, Golden Belt and Zip Gun Boogie. Futuristic Dragon next. I remember having this on vinyl. And so that I'm not going to even attempt to read that sort of style of writing. The tracks on this one though are Futuristic Dragon, Jupiter Liar, Chrome Star, All Alone, New York City, My Little Baby, Calling All Destroyers, Theme for the Dragon, Sensation Boulevard, Ride My Wheels, Dreamy Lady, Dawn Storm and Casual Agent. So that's the tracks that are on there. Then we come to back to T-Rex. This time under the album was called Dandy in the Underworld. So obviously Mark had produced a few solo albums, and then we've gone back to T-Rex and its original cover. Oh, I should be able to read those ones, they're much better. Including the tracks Dandy in the Underworld, Crimson Moon, Universe, I'm a Fool for You Girl, I Love to Boogie, Visions of Domino, Jason B. Sad, Groove a Little, The Soul of My Suit, Hang Ups, Rain on Love, Team Riot, Structure. So that was all the tracks that are on that album, which is a lot easier for me to read. So that's cool. I remember this album. I've got this on a double CD somewhere, like a deluxe edition. So we come to the 2 bonus discs. So let's have a little look at these. So that's again very well, much better written for me to read. The track listings on the disc 1 is Cadillac, Thunderwing, Lady, Children of the Revolution, Jitterbug Love, Sunken Rags, Solid Gold, Easy Action, Christmas Riff, 20th Century Boy, Free Angel, The Groover, Midnight, Truck On, Setting Free and Satisfaction Pony. So that is the tracks on there. And on disc 2 we have Blackjack, we have Squint Eye Mangle, Do You Wanna Dance, Dock of the Bay, London Boys, Laser Love, Life on an Elevator, Do You Know, To Know You Is to Love You, City Post, Dandy of the Underworld single version, Tame My Tiger and Celebrate Summer. And that's all the tracks on there. It's a shame that it doesn't have Ride a White Swan in there, and Deborah, which are 2 of my favourite songs, which I believe on the album just before this one. But yeah, so we pop those in there. So this is supposed to be the collection of all the T-Rex albums, and it is to a point. It doesn't include the Tyrannosaurus Rex albums. It doesn't include the Born to Boogie soundtrack or live album that came with that, but it does have a good selection of albums there from T-Rex. So those are 2 box sets from 2 classic British bands of the 1960s and 70s. So that is a little look at a couple of sort of box sets from a 60s, 70s, 80s band, The Kinks, and obviously the 1970s glam rock band T-Rex. I just thought I'd dig these out and give you a little look, because I could have done them in their own individual video, but with these kind of sets I don't really feel the need to, because these are artists that I love, but they're not my go-to artists. I really love them. They're really cool. When I was a young lad, I really loved Mark Bolan, because I saw him on, I think it was on Top of the Pops with David Bowie, and I just thought, wow, who's that guy? And then I heard some of his stuff and I thought, wow, that's really cool. And and I absolutely loved him, but I was so enthralled with David Bowie, and in the late 70s come along and I fell in love with Dr. Feelgood and other bands like that at the time, Thin Lizzy, and that. So that's where I sort of went, and then I went into the sort of new wavy kind of scene and post-punk scene by liking bands like Joy Division and onto Gary Newman and all that. And then as I've got older, I've appreciated once again some of the artists that I liked when I was kind of younger, and delved into a few of those sort of like albums. And these are great ways to sort of like, if you can pick these sort of up, to get in a good vast amount of these artists' collection in one go. so you haven't got to try and hunt down every single album, but sometimes that's quite cool. Now I've got somewhere a Castle release like this of Black Sabbath albums, but I cannot put my hands on it for the life of me. I think I might have lent it to someone and never got it back, which sounds about right. But yeah, these were two great little sets, really cool, worth picking up. I think the manufacturing on this is a bit cheap, but it's still really cool. I think it goes for a fair bit of money, this one, because I said it's out of print. A lot of the Kinks stuff's out of print. I mean, you've got some classic albums in there, you know, which is fantastic. And of course, this is really cool, and they've added the 2 bonus discs which have a lot of the singles on there, because T-Rex, that's what I loved about T-Rex, is a lot of their singles, they didn't go on albums. Some did, like you got some would Get It On and stuff like that, but some of their bigger sort of hits like Children of Revolution that weren't on these albums, so they've stuck them on 2 extra bonus discs down there. It's a shame it doesn't have Rider White Swan and Deborah, which are 2 of my favourite songs, but there we go. Anyway, guys, hope you like that. I will be bringing some more box sets coming up soon. I'm going to be doing one on David Sylvian, Jethro Tull, what else do I think of? Kate Bush. I think it's about time I go out on some David Bowie and maybe some Nick Drake. See you soon, guys.